So guys, in today's video, I'm going to explain why I believe Call of Duty Modern Warfare could go on to be the greatest Call of Duty of all time. I'm going to do a bit of a pros and cons list, then I'm going to explain to you at the end why I feel the way I do about this game. I know I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I've played Call of Duty for over 10 years now, and I know when I get that gut feeling about something, I'm usually right. Now that sounds quite big-headed, but bear with me and we will get to the explanation. Before we do that, I need some help from you, my subscribers, or even if you're new here, I'm going to need your help also. Now, I'm known as Tracky out of YouTube. That is my pet name. My family call me Tracky. Even my grandmother refers to me as Tracky. It's a term of endearment from most people. They don't refer to me by my real name. Hardly ever. In fact, when you refer to me by my real name, I'm either in trouble or you don't really know me that well. And I know it sounds cheesy, but as a term of endearment, I only see right that you guys get to call me Tracky. Most of you have spoken to me for years now and followed me and supported me in something that it does take a lot of time and effort, and you don't have to watch these videos. I put hours into some of these videos, and it's great to see the same people in a comment section. So down in the comment section, speaking of the comment section, I want you to tell me, just with typing the name, what you'd prefer me to do, because I'm going to do this rebrand. I'm going to coincide it with the release of this game, but I just want your opinions just to gauge how you feel. So type Mr. Tracky down in the comment section if you prefer me to keep my YouTube name as it is, or type Tracky down in the comment section if you prefer for me to move over to that. That's what I'm intending on doing. Just literally dropping the Mr. I think it's too formal and I think it's a bit cheesy personally, but you may disagree, guys, so let me know. But instead of me rambling on about that, let's get into the video and the pros and cons and how I feel about what I've genuinely seen from the multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So quite naturally, let's talk about the pros. There's a lot of them. There's a hell of a lot of them. I've had so much information thrown at me. I've watched so much that I've tried to whittle it down because I don't want this video to go on for too long. So let's move into the pros straight away. And the most obvious one, or maybe not the most obvious one, is what you're looking at. We are looking at a modern era shooter, realistic. There's an AK-47 on the screen. It sounds like an AK-47. What more can I say to you? It's what we've been asking for several years now, and it excites me so much that we are going back to the modern era. Infinity Ward, thank you very much. You've definitely won me. I've gone out and pre-ordered this game and got the Dark Edition. I'm just that excited to play it. And talking about modern era, let's see what mates up with that. It's the new engine. It's absolutely fabulous. Just listening to this game with a proper headset, the sound is so stunning and the visuals are so stunning. And also, now there are people debating whether it's a new engine or not, but just drop that argument altogether, because we have never seen Call of Duty look so good. So even if it's not a new engine, what they've managed to do with the engine is phenomenal. Sounds great, looks great. There are some reservations in terms of there's plenty depth to the sound, there's plenty warmth, but I do believe they're still going to need to do some balancing in terms of the sound. But that is what the next pro is going to be used for, the beta. We will be getting a beta. Here's the dates on the screen right now. The superior console, that is the PlayStation 4, will get 10 days worth of beta. I didn't just say that, did I? I did. I think I did. 100 million sold, that's all I say. And speaking of consoles and betas and Xboxes and PlayStations and PCs also, there is going to be crossplay. Crossplay is confirmed. Now, there's been a hell of a lot of debate in the community over the last few months or so. I weighed in my belief that they would genuinely get genuine crossplay similar to Fortnite's, and that is the case. We will have console versus console. It won't be console versus PC, although there is going to be native support for keyboard and mouse on console, which does make me scratch my head. Now, I'm under the belief that you will be put into matchmaking with PCs if you're on a console, if you plug in a keyboard and mouse. However, I've also heard that if they are keyboard and mouse on console, if you are in a console lobby, it will show a keyboard and mouse emblem next to that particular player's name. Now, I personally firmly believe that consoles should play versus consoles, and you should only be forced to play against a PC player if you have mated up with more PC players in your team, like actual friends. So we'll see how that one pans out, but we are actually getting full thoroughbred crossplay, which is great for this franchise. Now, this one I'm going to take with a pinch of salt. DLC's 3, everybody gets it, so everybody will be playing together. No fragmentation in terms of downloadable content, so there's no season pass. It's literally going to be boom, they drop the DLC and we all get it, and that's how it's going to work. Now, I'm going to take that one with a pinch of salt, but it still is a pro at the moment, guys. Another pro, 150 health is gone. I hated it. I stopped uploading Black Ops 4. I just couldn't deal with it. Maybe I should have went back over to hardcore. I did play hardcore in Black Ops 3 for almost its entire life cycle and thoroughly enjoyed it. But I don't know. I prefer to be in the populated games. I was struggling to find games in the latter part of its life cycle, and I just prefer the the meatiness of hitting a few shots and having to finish somebody off before they run around a corner. So no 150 health, and to marry with that, we have auto regen again. Now, you can have a stim shot in this game. There was a stim shot in Infinite Warfare. Most of you won't know that because a lot of you didn't play that game or give it a fair chance like I did. I'm not going to lecture anybody, but that's your choice. But yes, you can use a stim shot, but I believe you can only use it twice, and you will have to swap out a piece of equipment to use the likes of a stim shot. So auto regen, marvelous. Now, it looks fresh, it looks new, but it still looks like a COD that is relatable. There's still things that I believe look and feel like the original Call of Duty, with enough new for us not to say it's just recycled content. A lot of people have heard the Modern Warfare name and literally kind of called this a remastered. It's not, guys. You just have to spend 15 minutes watching this game to realize it is nothing like we have ever played. It's very different in a lot of aspects, but there is enough familiarity. Jeez, I don't know what happened there. I lost my teeth. In this game to call it Call of Duty. So OGs will be able to jump in and feel like they're playing Call of Duty, and new guys will come in and understand why we love this franchise so much, even though it doesn't seem like that sometimes. Right, moving on to the cons. And if I'm quite honest with you, there isn't that many. Now, there is something that has happened, and I need to talk about this in a little bit more detail. And this is what I think could affect this game in a negative light. They have chose to put, as you can see at the top of the screen there, a compass instead of a mini-map. Now, this isn't a hardcore game mode. This is core game play. And basically, as you can see, there's no heads-up display. So people have been complaining, and this is probably the biggest complaint that this game has received, which I genuinely believe is actually a really good thing, that people are only focused on one thing. I played hardcore for a long time, and I can tell you now, you will get used to not having a mini-map very quickly. There is also an addition of a new score streak called the Personal UAV, which actually gives you a UAV, an actual UAV, but only you can see it. So it won't work like Ghost, where they had the SATCOM. Now, the SATCOM made that game very, very slow, because you had to have 4 teammates get 4 SATCOMs to get a full UAV. So it made the game very slow, very defensive, very campy, some may say, which is a valid gameplay style, I might add. I don't personally like it, but it is a valid gameplay style, so I can't criticize people playing that way. But for me, I know another argument for the heads-up displays, because people like to see where their teammates are. Now, in this particular build of the game, Infinity Ward did confirm that the silhouettes should have been showing so you can see where your teammates are, which I personally think's quite a good compromise. However, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The heads-up display has been a staple in Call of Duty for years, and it's something that nobody's asked to be changed. So why change it? I know they're trying to make this more tactical and a more in-depth experience, but it's something that they probably shouldn't have touched. Now, my suggestion is to bring back the heads-up display, but only show where your teammates are, so the red dots don't appear on the map. If that's the way they're trying to go with it, then why not do that in the first place? If they're trying to stop people from whoring the stuff. Another thing to remember is when you do kill an enemy, when an enemy kills one of your teammates, beg your pardon, it does still show the skull where they are. So I've heard people say that it compresses the skill gap. I actually think this increases the skill gap by not having a HUD. You really have to have your awareness about you, and your gun skill has to be on point. Yes, people can run around the corner and lazy you, but if you're a really good player, you're probably going to get out the skirmish and come out on top. So it's a big debate going on. I genuinely can see why the community is concerned, and maybe they will play the beta and enjoy it and want to keep it that way, or maybe there will be enough of an uproar that Infinity Ward choose to change it just before the launch and actually put a heads-up display. Let me know down in the comment section your feelings on this, because this is the biggest talking point about Call of Duty right now. There isn't any real other negative that I can think about. Now, I've heard about it being slow again because there's no dead silence, but then I'm hearing there's field orders and you can get stopping power, or you can get dead silence from that. That will encourage certain people to play a certain style. But one thing I will say, playing Call of Duty for 10 years and so many different variants and versions of the game, I have never changed my style. I'm a rusher, and I always will be a rusher. And yes, it's been to my detriment in certain editions of Call of Duty, because you've had to play it differently, i.e. Black Ops 4, but I still managed to get a 2KD in every game apart from Advanced Warfare. I don't know whether it was skill-based matchmaking, I was just totally terrible at the game, or a combination of both, which it probably is. But that's the only game that I couldn't get over 2KD in. So the last con for this video is, I'm not really a fan of this whole, I know what they've tried to do by keeping it realistic, but I have noticed with the kill streaks that ones that you need to call in a map, you need to use like a set of goggles to pinpoint the location. I think you'll get killed a lot of times doing that. I'd much prefer the swiftness of going on the mini map, popping up on your screen and picking an area and getting back into the fray. Maybe this is something they'll adjust. Maybe it's something that we should just shut up and get used to. I don't know. You tell me down in the comment section. But for me, I just feel like we've definitely got a really, really good game. Oh, there's one last con in my personal opinion. Beg your pardon, guys. There are night vision maps. And whilst I think this looks good for now, I think it's a bit of a gimmick and I think it will get tiresome. However, I'm hearing that most of the night maps are in the realism mode, which should quantify as the new hardcore mode. It's going to be, very, realistic SWAT style gameplay, low health, no HUD, so you just really it should be very immersive, but that's probably me nitpicking. But overall, the reason why I believe this could be the greatest Call of Duty of all time is because I've actually seen the community sing in unison and not really have much to complain about. A Call of Duty coming out, not much to complain about. It was only the other day we was complaining about not having much information about the game, and now we have a Call of Duty where the biggest complaint is the lack of a mini-map. I think that should speak for itself to a lot of people that we are in for one hell of a year this year in terms of Call of Duty, and I for one will be churning out content like a factory. Guys, there are many buttons you can hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they tickle your fancy, and as always guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.